Okay, children, in the last class, we had discussed about concentration of solution, right? Concentration of solution, then solubility, then the two methods to find the concentration of solution, right? Mass by mass percentage and mass by volume percentage. And what about one problem? A solution contains 40 grams of common salt. Have you completed that one? Isha?
No.
No. Okay, we just discussed that equations, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then we can do one problem based on this equation. So I will show the problem on this board. Just wait. Okay, this is the question. You can write a solution contains 40 gram of common salt in 320 gram of water. Calculate the concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage of the solution. That's the question. A solution contains 40 gram of common salt in 320 gram of water. Calculate the concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage of the solution. Do you remember those two equations that helps to find out the concentration? How can we find out the mass by mass percentage?
Mass of solute by mass of solution.
100. Okay, mass of solute by mass of solution into 100. If it is mass by volume percentage, what will be the equation?
Mass by solute by volume of solution.
Okay, mass of solute divided by volume of solution into 100, right? Okay. So have you completed this question? A solution contains 40 gram of common salt in 320 gram of water. Calculate the concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage of the solution. So what? Yes.
How water can be 320 grams?
It's just we can also measure it into gram. That means we will measure it in volume and convert it into grams. That's it. Okay. Okay. So in this question, what all things given? Mass of this solute. Just wait. Okay, we can write mass of the solute. Here, which one is the solute? Common salt, right? Then what about its mass?
40 grams.
40 gram. Okay, then next one, mass of solvent. Which one is the solvent here?
Water.
Yes. Then what about its mass?
320 gram.
Yes, 320 gram. Then the equation to find out the mass by mass percentage, it is mass of solute by mass of solution. Okay, mass of solution. So we have to find out the mass of solution also. What about the mass of solution? Here solute and solvent mass is given. So what about mass of solution?
40.
Yeah.
40 divided by
30 by
320.
Just mass of solution. Not to find out mass by mass percentage, mass of solution. Tell me.
360.
Plus
Yes, 40 plus 320. That is 360, right? So you have to note that one. So now we know the value of mass of solute and mass of solution. Then we can substitute it in the equation. Mass by mass percentage of a solution, that is equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. So it will becomes 40 divided by 360 into 100. Mass of solute, it is 40 gram. Mass of solution, it is 360 gram. That means the sum of mass of solute and solvent. That is 360. Then into 100. Okay. Then tell me.
900.
Yes. Just simply cancel these two. Then we can cancel this. Yes, 40 into 10 divided by 36.
11.11.
Very good. 11.1%. Or either you can cancel like this. Cancel. Then 36 can be cancelled by 9. Then 100 divided by 9. That is 11.1%. Okay. Finished? Children?
1 minute.
Okay, okay. Finished? Okay, children. All of you completed, right? Yes, then we are moving to the next topic, that is suspensions. Okay, suspension. It's the another category of mixture, and it's an example for a heterogeneous mixture. It's an example for a heterogeneous mixture. That means the non-uniform composition throughout. Okay, suspension. It's a heterogeneous mixture in which the solute particles do not dissolve but remain suspended throughout the bulk of the medium. Okay, it will not dissolve in that solvent, but instead it will remain suspended throughout the bulk of the medium. You can see this example in this figure. Mud suspended in water. Okay, mud suspended in water. It's not completely dissolved. It's suspended throughout that medium. It will remain in that solution itself. That's the difference between solution and suspension. Okay, and examples, another examples, flour in water, then mud in water, etc. The examples of suspension. And here you look at this image. It's not homogeneous. That means not uniform composition throughout. Non-uniform composition is followed by this suspension. That means when you look at the particles inside this mud suspended in water, we cannot see that uniform composition everywhere in that glass, because mud is suspended, or it is remains in the bottom of that beaker or glass. Then the water particles are there at the top. Right? It is not dissolved. It is not uniform composition. That's why it belongs to heterogeneous mixture. And the solute particles do not dissolve. They remain suspended throughout the bulk of the medium. Okay.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of bulk of the medium?
Bulk means inside. Inside. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is oil in water example of suspension?
Oil in water. Yes. Finished. You can also add this one, oil in water. Finish, right? Amin, can you please read the slide?
Yes, ma'am. Suspension. Heterogeneous mixtures in which the solute particles do not dissolve but remain suspended throughout the bulk of the medium.
Hmm.
Examples: flour in water, mud in water, oil in water.
Okay. Shall I move to next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we are going to learn the properties of these suspensions. Okay, properties of suspension. First one, it is heterogeneous mixture. Okay, heterogeneous mixture that we have learned already. Heterogeneous mixture. That means the non-uniform composition throughout. Then in the case of this suspension, particles can be seen by naked eye. We have learned that in the case of solution, we cannot see particles by naked eye, right? Here we can see the particles by naked eye. That mud particles can be clearly seen through the glass, right? So here the particles can be seen by naked eye. And the particles scatter beam of light and make its path visible. Here it can able to scatter the beam of light. When you learn the properties of solution, it cannot able to scatter the beam of light, right? So the path of light is not visible in the case of solution. But here the particles can scatter beam of light and make its path visible. And when the particle settle down, after some time, when we kept that glass for some time, the particles of that mud, it will settle down and the suspension breaks and does not scatter light. Okay. When it will suspended, that means sweet. Okay, when the particles suspended in that solution, it shows scattering or it can able to scatter the beam of light. But after some time, when the particles settle down at the bottom of that glass container or beaker, the suspension breaks. That means the suspension stops and it does not scatter light. Okay. When the particles remain like this suspended throughout the bulk, it can able to scatter the beam of light. And after some time, you can see that it will settle down at the bottom. Only particles are here at the bottom. At that time, the suspension breaks and does not scatter the light. Okay, that's the third property. Then the fourth one, the solute particles are settled down, the suspension is unstable. When the solute particles settle down, the suspension, it is considered to be unstable. Okay, it is not stable. Then it can be separated by filtration. Using filter paper, we can able to separate this mud from that water, right? So we can be separated by filtration. So these are the main properties of suspension. It is a heterogeneous mixture. Then particles can be seen by naked eye. Particles scatter beam of light and make its path visible. When the particles settle down, the suspension breaks and does not scatter light. And the solute particles settle down, the solution here it is suspension, it is unstable and can be separated by filtration. So these are the main properties of suspension. Yeah, Abhiram, you can just message me. I will send you personally. Okay, Abhiram?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Heterogeneous mixture, then particles can be seen by naked eye. Particles scatter beam of light and make its path visible. When the particles settle down, the suspension breaks and does not scatter light. And the solute particles settle down, the suspension is considered to be unstable, then can be separated by filtration. So these are the properties of suspension. Anandita, can you please read the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Properties of suspension. Heterogeneous mixture.
Okay.
Particles can be seen by naked eye.
Hmm.
Particles scatter beam of light and make its path visible.
Okay.
When the particles settle down, the suspension breaks and does not scatter light.
Hmm.
Solute particles settle down, suspension is unstable.
Hmm.
Can be separated by filtration.
Okay. Have you completed, children?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
No, right? Adigesh.
Yes, ma'am.
Finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Then Who says that? No.
Ma'am, also.
Who is that? Alsan. Okay. You can complete it. And you can tell me whenever you complete, okay?
Finish, ma'am.
Okay. Then next type of mixture. Okay, next type of mixture that belongs to this heterogeneous mixture. That is known as colloid. Okay, colloid. Can you give one example for a colloid? Anyone? No idea. Okay, we can learn what do you mean by this colloid. Then you will get some examples. Colloids. Here the example is here, right? Okay. It's also a heterogeneous mixture. It's also an example for a heterogeneous mixture in which the particle size too small. Okay, particle size is too small to be seen with naked eye, but is big enough to scatter light. Just 1 minute. Okay, so colloids, it is always otherwise known as sol. Okay, SOL, sol. Colloids or sol. It is a heterogeneous mixture in which the particle size is too small to be seen with naked eye, but can able to scatter the light. So here the particle size is in between solution and suspension. In the case of solution, the particle size is too small. Okay, then the next one, colloid. It is too small to see, can be seen with naked eye, but it is big enough to scatter beam of light. Then the next one is suspension. Here the particles are large enough to scatter the beam of light and can be able to see with naked eyes. Okay, clear? In the case of particle size, solutions, it is too small. After that, colloids, then last suspension. And the examples for this colloids, milk, ink, etc. Milk, ink, etc. It is not a clear form of solution, right? It's a heterogeneous mixture. In the case of milk, I told you proteins are there, fat, then water, etc. These particles not uniformly distributed everywhere. Okay, that's why it belongs to heterogeneous mixture. Different types of particles there. That's why it is heterogeneous mixture. Okay. And here the composition also very different, non-uniform composition. This protein, fat, and water, that these particles not uniformly distributed everywhere. In some were proteins, and fat somewhere, then water, like that. It is not uniformly distributed everywhere in this milk. Similarly, in the case of ink, water is there, and certain dyes. Okay, dye. So here also it's an example for heterogeneous mixture. So colloids, they also belongs to the heterogeneous mixture in which the particle size too small to be seen with naked eyes, but it is big enough to scatter light. Examples are milk, ink, etc. Okay. Yes.
Paint an example.
Yes, paint also example for colloid. Paint. Then we will learn more examples of colloids in the next section. That means we can classify this into different types, and there are different types of colloids and their examples in the next section. Okay. Have you completed this slide? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Okay. Advait Murali, can you please read this slide?
Yes, ma'am. Colloids or SOL. Heterogeneous mixture is in which the particle size is too small to be seen with the naked eye, but is big enough to scatter light.
Okay.
Example, milking, paint.
Then we can learn the properties of these colloids. Okay. Properties of colloids. It also belongs to the category of heterogeneous mixture. Okay, heterogeneous mixture. And the size of particles is too small to be seen by naked eyes. Particle size is too small to be seen by naked eyes, but it is big enough to scatter the beam of light and make its path visible. Here, this process is known as Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect. Okay. The particles of colloids, they are big enough to scatter the beam of light and make its path visible. That is known as Tyndall effect. Okay, when you show a flashlight from a torch through a solution and colloid, in the case of colloid, we can clearly see that path of light. Okay, but in the case of solution, we cannot see that path of light. Okay, that's the main difference between solution and colloid. In the case of suspension also, it scatters the beam of light, but in the case of colloid, it is very clear. Okay, suspension also scatter the beam of light, but here in the case of colloidal particles, they are big enough to scatter the beam of light and makes its path visible. This process, it is known as Tyndall effect. Okay, and these particles, in the case of suspension, we learned that after some time, the particles settle down and the solution remains unstable. Here, do not settle down when left undisturbed. That's why colloid is stable. Okay, the solute particles or the particles present in milk, ink, etc., they do not settle down. That means the colloid is stable compared to that of suspension. In the case of suspension, when they left undisturbed that mud water for some time, that mud particles will remain settled down after some time. That means the colloid is unstable. But here, these particles do not settle down when left undisturbed. That means the colloid is stable. Okay, so these are the main properties of colloids. So we can compare the properties of solutions, suspensions, and colloids, right? In the case of solutions, it's a homogeneous mixture. Then suspension and colloid belongs to heterogeneous mixture. Then in the case of solution, the size of the particle is too small. We cannot see it by naked eyes. Then in the case of suspension, we can see it by naked eyes. And here in the case of colloids, size of the particles is too small to be seen by naked eyes. Okay, then the scattering of light. Solutions cannot able to scatter the beam of light. In the case of suspension, it can able to scatter the beam of light because the particle size is big. Here, the particles are big enough to scatter this beam of light, and this process, it is known as Tyndall effect. Okay, then in the case of suspension, when it left undisturbed for some time, the particles will settle down. But here, it do not settle down when left undisturbed. That means here the colloid is stable and suspension, it is unstable. Okay, clear? In the case of solution also, it is stable because the solute particles already dissolved in that solvent. So nothing settled down there, right? So it also belongs to a stable one. Clear? Nikila, can you please read these properties of colloids? Yes.
Heterogeneous mixture, size of particle is too small to be seen by naked eyes.
Yes.
Big enough to scatter a beam of light and make its path visible. Do not settle down when left undisturbed. Colloid is stable.
Okay. Then we have learned about the Tyndall effect, right? Do you observe any similar phenomenon related to the Tyndall effect in your daily life? Similar thing, that of Tyndall effect.
Rainbow.
Rainbow, it's the reason of scattering of light. It's okay. Otherwise, I will show you certain images. Yes, Lakshmi, anything?
Fog.
Fog, yes. I will show you the images of certain things. Then you will get clear idea about that. Okay. Look here. You can experience this Tyndall effect in your daily life, right? When you are there in a closed, that means dark room with a small hole everywhere in that room, you can see that the light particles will pass through that hole. and you can clearly observe the particles through that rays, right? Dust particles, we can clearly see the path of light here and the dust particles present in that portion. Okay, so the colloidal particles can easily scatter the beam of light. This phenomenon is called Tyndall effect. Similarly, when you walk through a dense canopy of forest through a morning, okay, in a morning, we can similarly see this Tyndall effect in the forest also. The rays from the sun, it will fall on the forest, and you can clearly see in the path of light from the sun, isn't it? So this Tyndall effect, you can directly experience it from your daily life. It is just a scattering of the beam of light by particles present in colloids. Clear? This is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. In this room, it is scattered by the dust particles, smoke, etc. Okay. Dust particles, smoke, etc. They scattered the beam of light. And here in the case of forest, fog, then mist, dust particles, these all can able to scatter light. Okay. So that's the, yes.
Ma'am, this colloid does not settle any particles down, right? Then why it is heterogeneous mixture?
Why it is?
Heterogeneous mixture.
In the case of all heterogeneous mixtures, the particles do not settle down. Okay, in the case of suspension, it is settled down. We have learned the definition for heterogeneous mixture as non-uniform composition, right? It will not settle down, but it is not uniform composition everywhere. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's about the properties of colloids. Okay, then we can discuss this topic in the next class. So what all things we learned today? About suspensions and colloids, right? Okay, Sridev, can you tell me the properties of suspensions?
It is a heterogeneous mixture.
Okay.
Particles can be seen by the naked eye.
Then?
Particles scatter the beam of light and make its path visible.
Then?
Solute particles settle down and the suspension is unstable.
And suspension is unstable. So these are the properties of suspension. Isha, can you give examples for suspension?
Ma'am, mud in water, oil in water, etc.
Flour in water, etc. Okay. Lynette, what are the properties of colloids?
Ma'am, it is a heterogeneous mixture, and it is big enough to scatter beam of light and make its path visible. It is known as Tyndall effect.
Okay.
It cannot be seen by naked eye.
Okay. And what about stability?
It's unstable.
Colloid, it is stable, right? Because it does not settle down when left for some time. So it is stable. Okay, solution also belongs to the category of stable one because the solute particles already dissolved in that one. Okay, then Tom, can you give example for this colloid?
Milk,
Milk,
ink,
etc. Okay, paint. These all belongs to colloids. Then we can discuss the remaining portion in the next class. Before winding up, let me take your attendance. Okay.
Is present.
Okay, Fadil, I marked as present. Okay, children, so all of you read this portion very well for the next class. Okay. Okay, then thank you all. See you in the next class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Abhiram, can you please send me the message? Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you all. See you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you.